Now here's going to be we'll see, hopefully a repair video on a old Speedrite unit called a 980. This is I guess a 9.8 output joule unit. This unit was made roughly from the late 80s, early 90s, all the way to the early 2000s. 2005, 6, somewhere in that range. There's a spider right there. Spider alive? Oh yeah, he's alive. Alive and well. Oh, this nasty little guy is. Look at him. Get grabbed by the leg and get him out of here. He gone. I'm gonna live somewhere else. Anywho, but this really old school unit. These were made back when Speedrite was really good. I'm not too fond of the newer current generation stuff that's out there, like the Speedrite 6000s and 3000s and 12,000i's. They're kind of expensive. These weren't cheap back in their day. These would probably anywhere from $400 to $600 back in their prime when they were being sold. So these weren't cheap anyways either, compared to the other ones that were out there. But these things will run circles around the newer ones when it comes to reliability. You might have to put a little work into them to make them run again, but usually put a little time and money in them. Excluding light, they'll go 10, 15, 20 years with hardly any issues. But there's our information right there. We've got links down in the description below. You can find our websites that way as well. But we're going to... I haven't even plugged this thing in. Let me take these little things inside. I don't know if I can fix this one. This is... we're going to give it a whirl, see what we can do. I can't promise anything that we're going to be able to fix this one, because brand new parts for these are obsolete. We can put capacitor in them. We can get brand new capacitor that will work in it. But the circuit boards and the transformers, you have to rebuild or retrofit. So, oops. So we're going to pop this cover apart. So we're about probably one of the only places that will still work on these older ones. Most places don't rebuild the boards on them. If they can't just part swap with a brand new board, which you cannot get anymore, you're basically out of luck. There's a date it was built, February 13th of 1990. So this thing's 33 years old, almost 34 years old. Well, already see possibly one issue. Transformer's got a big crack in it, but that could just be age related. This capacitor was what I heard flopping around in the thing, but that was wired in right there when they super glue or hot glued it in place. But also these capacitors have been replaced. These aren't the factory ones. I mean, they're factory ones by Tru-Test, but they're not the original ones. The original ones were kind of a white beige color, so these have been replaced at one point in time. But let's plug it in here and see what happens. On the note with it, they've got two units, I believe. This one and another Speedrite, I think a different model. One of them clicked and had no output or very little, which might be this one. And the other one didn't, a light thing lit up, powered on, but would not click. Alright, see this one clicks and such. Instead of very little output. So let's flip it up this way. Let's get our tester out. We'll test the output across the fence and ground. Alright, we're going to look at open circuit voltage. That'll be that number there. Usually this thing's about 7,000 volts or higher. And we're on kV, peak voltage, no load. Oops. 0.9 kV, so less than 1,000 volts. Alright. So like I said, could be the transformer, with that transformer being cracked, that could be our only issue. But also could be this output board. Because the light down there was flashing. I saw that before I flipped it up Usually it takes about 3,000 volts to make that light flash, so we might have another issue. But you can see down there it's flashing. So maybe our transformer's fine and we got a board related issue. So what we do there is we unhook one of these wires. No matter if it's this wire or this wire, we're just trying to take the transformer out of circuit. To get this board out of circuit, basically, now we're going to take that same tester and go across this wire to this wire with that circuit board out of the way, and then we'll see what it does there. So let's plug it back in here. We'll watch this number there, see if it jumps way up or not. Here to here. Nah, gained a little bit, like 1.1, 1.2 kV. So, transformers are issue. Now, here's the issue we're going to run into. Because I can get a transformer that will fit inside here, but you got to have one that will work with the rest of it, and one that will handle, a 10 joule, give or take, output. So that's our issue that we're going to run into. I'll see if I've got another one of these in stock or not. I don't think we will. If we do, we'll just unbolt everything, put another one in there. But if we don't, we're going to have to retrofit. If not, this thing's, lost cause. Because the only other option is to throw it away and buy a new one. But there's the output board. And you can see it's been arcing and burning up right there for a while. Alright, let me do a little snoop around here in the parts bin area, see if we got I know transformer that I can use in here, so I'm not too worried about it, but it's a bit of a pain to fasten in place, because I got to put a metal strap across it, bolt it to the frame, bolt it to the case. Kind of a pain in the neck to do. It's doable, it's just a pain. So let me do a little look in here real quick. Alright. Got a brand new, old stock, we were going to call it, factory transformer for this model. So we're going to, I got to get this board out of the way just so it makes things a little easier to work on stuff. I'll grab the board right here. Go over here so make sure we don't grab onto anything that's soldered to the board and break it off on accident. Come on. Some of these boards pull right up. Sometimes this one's fighting me. You can check the primary side and see if the primary is any good or not. So that's the main circuit board for. Look at this. This thing is original too, because it's got the July of '89. So this one, the board was built. Board was built in 1989. So it's original board. All right, let's just put that board off the side. There's a piece of plastic down inside here. We gotta get that out of there. Alright, now we gotta get this transformer out. So we're gonna plug these wires here. Alright, and we'll take the nut here. There's 4 nuts on each one of these, or 4 nuts all together. There's 2 holding these little things down. Come on. I don't know what to look. I don't think I got any new boards. I don't know why I just ran fine and quit. We will check this capacitor just because I'm already in here messing with everything. Might as well check them. Probably fine. Since the blue ones, which are the later versions, they usually don't go bad all that often. Even when they're like 10 years old, they're usually still pretty good shape. So this has been worked on by somebody at some point. Alright, I got these 2 nuts here we gotta loosen up. These definitely are a lot more time consuming to work on than the newer ones are. Newer ones are a lot, I guess, simpler to work on because everything's not bolted and wired like this stuff is, but these ones are still a lot more durable, long-lasting units than the newer stuff is. I don't build them like they used to, at least with this brand. Because the replacement unit today by Speedrite would either be, you have to drop down to Speedrite 6000, which 2023 prices are like 500 bucks plus or minus, or you have to jump it to the 12,000i Speedrite, and they're like $800, something like that. So I don't know, give it maybe $900. I don't know. There's an old transformer. So see, there's kind of stamping on this one. Some stampings, numbers on it, but it doesn't match up. Like this K94, I don't know what that means. This one says SPS, so I don't know what the heck. Maybe it says person's initials. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna slide this back in here. Get the nut put on there to get that started. This is the thermal thing. That little thermal fuse thing on the side. Is it any good? Like you replacing that? Yeah, is it good?
I don't know. I don't think it would be.
Well, it'll shut the unit down. Well, didn't it? But yeah. Unless it just was on the verge of going bad. I mean, the only thing it could be that would shut it down, probably besides that, would be that little 3-legged thing on there. That 3-legged thing that's on there, is it normal size? Like, is that one of those big ones? Is it? Can you tell if it's been replaced or not on the back?
It looked like it.
Okay. Let me get you another one. Spot in the threads, we just didn't want to go past that spot there. It's going, I do the pliers are good, but I hit like a hard spot and I can't do it by hand. Alright, so now we'll plug these wires back on here. On there. There. And what we'll probably do as well when we go, if this solves our issue, is we will get some double-sided foam and get those capacitors where they stay in place a little bit better. That hot glue or whatever they use is not holding anymore. Alright, let's get that output board reinstalled. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Not even holding. Alright, what channel does that go to? That goes to our ground side. Alright, we're going to have to come up with a way, because this little, it's like basically a female spade connector. It plugs on. Alright, there's a male spade, one on each hot, ground, and half power. So there's 3 of them on there. There's one there, one there. This one's completely burned off there. There's nothing, even no solder joint or nothing still there. Let's clean it off real quick, and then what we'll do is we'll get a piece of wire. Okay, looks like this whole strip right here is all connected together. So what we'll do is we'll get a wire, and let's just do a don't need nothing really big and heavy duty, but we'll get a wire here. We're going to crimp on a female spade connector. Let's see. Oh, my crimping tool's in the truck. Hold on. Alright, let's see. Clicked once and stopped.
Yep.
There's a transformer issue. But the primary good though.
Yeah, both ends were good. Both sides.
Alright, so we're going to solder a wire from here onto here, and that will plug into that male spade down there. So let's add some solder here. And I'll take that wire, where the hell did it go? You don't need to be very long because we can move that around a little bit. Why don't we use a stranded wire versus that solid core? That'd be a little more forgiving and be able to play around with moving things around. Be able to bend it in place without that wire bending too many times and breaking or something silly. I think we need to have it too awful long. We'll just cut right there. Now solder and iron out. Solder that there. Alright. So now having trouble seeing it. Having trouble seeing what I'm doing. Come on, get on there. Come on. Okay, it's fighting me. All three of them. Okay, that one. Okay, I think we're good there. Hopefully this goes okay to working. For whatever reason, it's got a mill spade. It's got a mill spade on it, so we need to change that out. Okay, I'll bugger that board up a little bit. When I was pulling this board out, it scratched up that trace there. Now the trace is broke. So now we'll solder a wire from there all the way over there. Just basically making our own trace with this wire. fresh solder to reflow it. And we'll take this wire, we'll add a little solder to it, tin the wire basically. And we'll heat this up, hold the two together, let them flow. Snips just a little long. Alright, so now we'll slide this down, those little grooves there. Make sure all of them get onto their tabs they're supposed to be. I want to get this capacitor. We'll use some either double-sided foam or we'll use some epoxy to put that, get the capacitor in place. You can see someone's super glue, or hot glued in there, hot glued and hold. Let's go and plug it in, and we'll recheck our output. Sounds a little healthier too. It doesn't sound like it's. Sounds a little louder, so probably the transformer's doing its job better now. Let's plug it back in. Turn our tester on here. And we'll go across fence and ground, peak voltage. Yeah, 9,000 volts out of it almost. And now we're working like a dream. Let's see what kind of joules this thing has in the thing. Let's click this down to the pretty heavy unit, so I think 200 ohms shouldn't phase it too much. We're at 8.5 joule output. Let's see what 100 ohms does to it. .1. So if we could find 150 ohm, we'd probably get that thing close to 9.5, 10 joules. But 100 ohms is just past its threshold of what it can handle before it starts dropping the joules off. So yeah, it's about a 9+ joule unit. Turn it off here. So yeah, this thing's working fine. So all we gotta do now is get this reattached, put the thing back together, and go get these capacitors fastened in place. Other than that, this one's raring to go again. Boards, I don't think much has been ever done to the board. I don't see a lot of soldering done to it, so I think the board's probably factory original. These patches have been glued on once before by somebody. I think overall, I think the board is probably the original from 30-some years ago and still going strong. Alright, well, that's about it for this video. I don't need to show you me gluing the capacitor in place, or put some double-sided foam or glue on the back side of those, bottom side of those to keep them in place. But there's our information right there. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'll be happy to for you guys to do that. If you hit the thumbs up button, happy for that as well. And until next time, see you guys later on.